Wild Boys, the
Hello,
leader. Let's start simple though. Who are you?
my name's Brian. I am the CEO slash chairman of the Wild Boys organization slash LLC.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Let's look, Han. Let's look to the past.
okay.
So, how did you start the org? How did it come to be?
How did I start the org? Well, funny enough, one day I was sitting there with a group of friends at this place called Twin Peaks, and one of my friends mentioned Jinxie, and I was like, Jinxie, who the fuck is that? So they pulled up his Twitch, and we were watching him, and he said something about like a $50,000 like game. I was like, what? There's no way. So me going into Discord and going around, I went through the main R6 server on Discord, and then I got recruited.
Well, we're back, and with maybe a handful of issues due to rostering and tech, but we're starting a little late. We're still there. We still got there at the very end. Have Dme Dcmb should be a banger of a game, in my opinion. I think we're going to see a very, very close one. Both these teams, despite the very varying seeds, I think DCMB has a little bit more in them than people are letting on. Dark Matter, obviously, easily the big or the, I suppose, expected winner, but I wouldn't count on a team like DCMB just quite yet. I think we've certainly seen crazier things from them. We've seen bigger wins, bigger comebacks. It would not surprise me if they are able to deal with a map like this. You know, come back from, I think, what would be a very surprising win if they did pull it off. Now just kind of starting to wait on these teams getting their players in, getting, hopefully, everyone worked out. I do know there's a handful of issues right now with various things, because when would it ever not be? What would be the fun in a siege game that doesn't have any issues? I think that means we're good to go. And apparently we already have an unrostered player issue, so as much as I would love to not have this happen, apparently we're going to go to a tech pause. It's only been a little bit. Well, we still have a couple of tech issues, but at minimum, I'd like to introduce the teams we're going to deal with. We're going to be seeing tonight the maps. Actually, should be a relatively stacked map roster, in my opinion, as we get to see two of my favorite maps. We have Night Haven, Clubhouse, a quick little 1-2, and then we have at the very end a little bit of layer to sprinkle on. Both these teams don't play that much layer, so if we do happen to get there, it'll be a lot of new ground for both of them. However, I think the biggest thing to look forward to, there's a lot to look forward to if you're DME here. You have what looks to be one of the strongest rosters in a long time from any team, and it looks ridiculously well done. I think there's a lot that you can certainly come away from this, and even if you don't win this out single-handedly, even if you struggle a little bit, I think there's a lot you can look and say, we're just a great team here. It's only a matter of time, and I think that this could certainly be their time here. Win it now, trying to keep going forward and prove that they're deserving of that 1 seed here. They're deserving of easily having one of the biggest seeds you could have. Ah, I got Sid and everybody here. Thank you for the viewers. I will take it. I have chat up at the same time. La miserable. What is a way I can get my chat to have up? Because I really don't want to have that not up. I want to have that up. So like, let's do this. That is very convenient. Then all platforms, all of mine are streaming. Yeah, so we're now streaming on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. Got the big three. I gotta send this quickly to a friend. Well, as we still work out this annoying tech issue, I'm gonna go on for tech pause just a little bit longer to see if we can figure this out before I gotta start yapping my ass off. And we're back, and apparently this time, with a reason to stay. We have all of our roster spots figured out, we know what the issues is, and we can start this one. All certainly within question, I think, and it would not surprise me if we can see, you know, a little bit from here. It's certainly, I think, a game to look forward to. Your second game in playoffs, and everyone always loves it when you have some playoff games. You have something to look forward to if you're a team. It's in the air. You know, you have your fun in BO3s. Yesterday we had easily one of the most crazy BO3s we've seen in a while. Okay, we're cool, good. All the numbers are figured out. Everyone can play Siege, and they're not unlisted. See the first bands, we see your Blackbeard, your Mira. At this point, it's like your ping and pong, your yin and yang. Mira is one of the most banned ops here, only behind Azami and Clash. Clash is only ahead by what I see as a 0.5%, so either way, they're just never here. Generally, you do see the Cade go very often in these first two bans, and you see the Azami go very often. Mira isn't uncommon, same with Clash, but those four generally you'll see mixed around, and you'll have a little bit of variation. All right. Why are you on TikTok? Why are you on whatever, Charlie Whirley is just gonna Charlie Whirley. I don't even know. That's the most random shit on the planet. Whatever, I guess we're gonna watch on other platforms. Hey, we'll have some fun with it. Overall, it's actually looking to me what should be a very, very good map. Hopefully, at least. We all hope for that long map. Maybe in overtime. It'd be tough to top our previous one of what was a full... only missing 2 rounds, so we almost had a full game there. That'll be hard to top between Voltage as our first game, but we can still hope. There we go. Overall, it looks to be a very basic start to the round in terms of setups. You don't expect a lot crazy out of these first maps, out of these first rounds. You're going to expect teams to settle their way in. You don't expect this crazy play. And we might have a rehost already. If they call it, we might be here for on tech pods for a long time. I certainly hope not, but it would not surprise me if we have that issue. There has been issues galore as of semi-recent. Oh, shit! Stats overload. And then, sorry for the ads right now. We are gonna have a map break. It's like 3 minutes of ads, and then you shouldn't have any more ads for the rest of it. It should all be during map breaks, but this was way more, a little bit on hand, so I couldn't have even time to pull one out. Sadly is But it is what it is. Dang, we got the entirety of not Make-Wish, Ma here. Yeah, y'all rebranded, excuse me. Overall, a bit of a failed Maverick trick, and you could certainly still succeed here, but it's taking a lot of time off the clock when it could have been done much faster. And I mean, at least you're getting the wall. It's a big guarantee, and you love to at least have the wall as an option, but you'd hope for so much more. You'd hope that maybe, just maybe, you can actually get the wall timely manner. But getting the first pick, a little bit of retribution is not bad. Ties it back up after losing your first two. The oh so beautiful thing called internet issues. When in doubt, expect internet issues. It is Siege after all. What would it be without some weird connection flaws? To be fair, an entirely odd round as we're seeing Raptors kind of giving up here despite there being no zombie ban. And we're going to see the entirety of DME kind of just walk up freebies. You're going to have to shoot a Legion here and there. You might have to do a little bit of work, but something that is normally fought tooth and nail with Capitals, hard breaches, and probably a handful of flashes is going to be done off of just a Monty just walking his way up. Gives you a lot of space and a lot of time here, I think, if we're lucky. Players-wise, you certainly have a lot that you can look for if you are DME. A plant is certainly within the cards. You just got to be very careful. There's a lot you can give up things to. On the Capital, you're going to start going in for that plant. You're going to start looking for that post plant as long as you don't see any rogue, crazy plays. This one should be almost guaranteed spot down, and now you're going to have to play the post plant with a very, very hard fight in any way. Even if you have all your bodies here, even if you catch 2 or 3, you still have to kill a Monty. You still have to kill someone outside, maybe. There's so much you have to do, and it doesn't look great here. DME grabs 2 big ones. Donut L3 doing a bit of a quick little 1-2. Make that a 1-2-3. Once again, Donut L3, apparently the entirety of the beating force of this team, and it just feels like the entire issue is Raptors. That's what I was saying. I expected a rehost call, and, you know, they didn't call it. Instead, we're just going to do our thing. But DME walked up Raptors for free. I don't think I've ever seen a freer Raptors in my entirety of my time of coaching and catching. I don't know, man. They weird, I guess. Madmen. It is what it is sometimes. It is what it is. You know, some people have interesting give-ups, and sometimes we let the entirety of Raptors go by ourselves. Good lord.
Defenders, protect your bomb.
Hey, live and learn. It's only your first map, first round. You got a lot of time in between there. You were down a person. You know, sometimes things can get messy. He was the Azami player, so it makes sense, but you got to call the rehost there. It was early enough for all rules say you can. So I think it's going to be a huge blunder here, and you're just going to give up a bit of a freebie of a round where they didn't have to do anything. They literally sent up Suffer here all the way up the entirety of Raptors and took it by himself. A bit of a one-man job, and crazy free round in my opinion, but hey, let's not let DCMB get out of this early. Despite low seeds, I think they still have some relatively good expectations. Beating DME is going to be one hell of a task, but if a team were up to do it, I'm pretty sure DCMB would not be the man, or would not be a bad person to pick. They're going to have to play a pretty hard underdog role here. Is I have them stats-wise minus 20%, which is a little wild, honestly. Also, Hindu. We at least see the original opens. OBJ getting his, you know, early stuff, trying to get some more holes to work with, and obviously just trying to alleviate some pressure, maybe feel a little bit more into the Azami, as I guarantee you she feels safe as hell, but don't feel too safe here as we see the first one come out from Vibe. Bit of an oddball if you do ask me, but a first kill is a first kill. Who can complain about having one number up? Glad to see it. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, I assumed. However, everything in your right mind tells you not to peek. For once, I'm going to say, give up that wall, because it's not going to treat you nicely if you try to fight it. This also might be a bit of a flaw here, is I think he didn't place it high enough. You normally need to place it higher for it to fully blowtorch through, as there's been a handful of issues with it, and this might actually cause a lot of issues here. But instead, he runs across as a madman and gets it for free. They just give it up. Obviously, you have your flaws, and it's still early on, so I wouldn't count anything out, but these sort of early things are certainly going to lead to more down the road. That big butterfly effect you would hope to not have. Overall, I feel like it's the calm before the storm here. We see the two brows. We see everything kind of just holding that wall, holding it all together, thin as hell. Zephyr grabs one off the Monty, and we see where he's coming from. Raptors, it looks to be his position, and it's really just how well can we see the Bandit hold this. He's going to have to do a lot here. He's not going to have a lot of space to work with. However, given more by L3, doing a bit of a flop down the stairs. You need to find it here. Donut does, and you have your advantage. You have your numbers, and it certainly looks like you could have a good plant here. Once again, in the same spot as the big thing. It feels that there wasn't much of a change. You might have had the Azami this time, but it looks like this plant is stronger than ever. However, there's still a sneaky 2C4s on the board, and that could cause issues. Always something to worry about if you are them, and DME might feel safe, but a walk-in from Donut certainly makes it safer. You find, hopefully, the two right here, but you're trying to find it. He is not letting it go easy. Said L3 does, and in a 1v4, it's possible you win this. It's possible you find a couple, but I think DME have created a battering ram of a momentum here, and I think you've given them a big chance here to win. I don't see it ending anytime soon, at least in an easy way. That's going to hurt as you see DME grab 2 straight. I think the issue was not necessarily that there was a bad play or one mazy, crazy flaw. It's just that there's a small amount of flaws that we're seeing from DCMB, and there's enough that it's causing the needle to tip. You're giving up Raptors too easily. You need to see more pressure be put there, and we're going to see it obviously go down to basement instead. Not feel safe on that, not feeling as strong as they'd hope. It's fine. Go to your easier site, work with it. Cooler. I think there's like some serious, if I start letting my own teammates spectate. Chalk it. I can't even speak. This is up way too late, but who is winning the map? Prediction should be up much earlier than you hear this, as a delay and this do not match up. DME, DCMB. I mean, I think we're just kind of seeing right now is we're seeing the reason that Dark Matter was that 1 seed. We're seeing the reason that they went almost perfect in their games. Because they've shown that. They've shown that they can handle that level, and I think that it's up to DCMB to even prove they can handle this. It's a big, big step up for them if they even want to touch it. And I think that's going to be the bigger issue is you have a lot you have to do here if you are DME. And there's not a lot you can even really change. I think that this roster and how they play has been kind of shown throughout the entire season. I think it's more up to them now to show that we can play consistently at that level. We can play in the BO3s, we can play in the BO5s. If it gets to max rounds, we still have, that mentality. We still have that dog in them, that X factor that we've seen to keep putting them ahead, keep giving them those wins. We haven't seen a lot from DCMB that really makes you think true dominance yet. And I think that's certainly just how it comes sometimes. I mean, being 2 and 3, you have a lot you have to really show here. You didn't go positive in the regular season. Points-wise, you were not as good as you hoped to look, and you're going to have to go against one of the strongest teams, 5-0, plus 17 points, and having dominant wins over almost every single team. If I'm not mistaken, only 1 game taken overtime. Once again, true, just absolute dominance from them as of recent. Yeah, no. I still love you, Cooler, but we'll be keeping it by the rules today. It is playoffs. It's not a regular season. I'm pretty sure Vise would not be so happy with me. Hey, but I'm casting Roll Rivals probably, so it's looking up for me. Suffer, though, certainly looking for a kill on the Blitz Shield. Aggression being shown, but I don't know if he's going to find much here. He's either going to really aggress here. He's going to have to really push the boundary of how far he can take it. Maybe not. Maybe Mercury is going to give one up for something a little bit freer. Normally you see a Mute here. Normally you see some sort of shotgun character. Mute, Smoke are generally the common ones, but instead we're going to see the Capcan. A bit of an oddball, a bit of a unique play, and I like a Capcan sometimes with these fire, these new fire pipes that can cause issues, and you can get free kills, but I don't know if it's worth losing your big stairs operator. It's going to be given up almost freely, I feel, to DME, and you might be able to get a tag, but you're being shot from above. They have the verticality on you. You just got to run away at times. You're going to see it at a minute left. You're at least seeing the good progression from DCMB this time. It feels like they finally are progressing the round as they should. They're giving up space in a timely manner. There's still a lot that's normal for this round. I think that's the big step up, is it doesn't feel like we're watching something that's super unique yet. And that's good here for DCMB. They want to have a traditional game. They want to show that they can hang at a normal level without doing anything crazy. It's what you want to see. Seeing some cap cans go out. You're seeing Suffer kind of trying to be the man to wait for it all. Once he goes, you know what's going to happen. You know how aggressive it's going to be. It's really just all down to that one timing, and you might find a little bit of damage onto him, but I don't think he's giving up a body, not at this point. I think DCMB got to be ready. We certainly see what's coming. We see the flashes. We know what's going to happen. You see one drop, 2, 3, and you might find one, but this plant is going to be the big issue. Time is always going to be the factor, and you might get it off, but it's going to be so close here. You barely get off the plant. Suffer's not in a position to stop it. You got to pray they don't go for anything here. You got to pray you can just win these ones. You have the blitz shield. You have a lot you can work with, but one kill or another kill from Suffer, double on the round, and he seems to be the driving force once again. We're seeing how much he can impact, force those players away, bring them right into another. And despite the bit of lackluster starts, at least in that last round, we're seeing a dominant play so far from DME, where they just cannot be stopped. Certainly good for the side of DME. You see a lot of hope, but you'd hope to see more at this point from the other team. Runner, you're not duo casting any of my games, dude. I've done duo casting 7 games in a row, and some of them are real, like it's like T3, like Baller, you know, a couple of others, but some of them I'm just not going to do it. All due respect, I do not want to do it to myself. I enjoy solo casting every once in a while. Even though this game is kind of important, it is the 1 seed versus like the 12. Forgive me, I don't remember my seeds. That sounds crazy as hell. And drops available too. I forgot that existed. Honestly, they're kind of convenient. If I'm not mistaken, these are the PC Game Pass. I actually did this for I don't know, I think it was like a charm. I want to say it was Uzi. I'm not saying it's worth it, but if we're gonna get a charm, low-key, go subscribe now. You can get your charm. You catch a free month of PC Game Pass. I sure shit don't got a charm, but not a bad idea if you're into, you know, one of the charm users. I'm personally an Uzi or Bolo man, but all the respect, maybe you're a Jinxie guy. We're not platformist around here. None of that over here, despite me being casting on a PC using an Xbox controller to observe. It's the method, trust. It's just the method. Methodology in it all is what I'll tell myself. Overall, though, the stats and everything leans towards DME kind of putting a belt to the ass as of right now, and you'd hope for a little bit more. You'd hope for at least some players really showing out, but other than Vibe, who I think we expected to kind of see go big, there isn't a lot to hope for on this team. Not yet, at least, and we're going to need to see a massive step up from at least someone. Champ could certainly do it. He has a Legion shotgun in hand, pulling out the Charlie Whirly, if you will. Yeah, I don't know why. Like, the breaks are annoying, and I need to fix the audio. It's miserable. It can be such pain at times, but when I do a game like this right before anything, and I don't know when it's going to start entirely, because I was doing something else beforehand, I can't run pre-rolls. So instead, you're going to have to deal with ads for this one, and then I run 3 minutes of manual ads during the map break. We all are happy because nobody else gets any ads for an hour. It's how it normally is. It's how it should be. And then I couldn't get on time, so I couldn't call it. Yeah. Let's talk about last night, in which case, yeah, that was miserable. Rest in peace to you, some of you that had to go on the VOD to watch it. It was a hell of a game. You're at least seeing, I think, a bit of a slower progression from the side of DME, and it looks that way just because they don't have a lot of hard breach here. You do have Suffer as your kind of one-man job. He has to do everything here, and you're going to get it done eventually, but the fact of the matter is you're going to have to wait so long. You at least get walls. You at least get some work done, but It's so painful and how slow it can be. And that might be the biggest issue, is just there isn't enough time to do it all. You might finally get your thing. You might finally start getting the, you know, map space and hard breach you want done, but it's going to take forever. And you might find a free one here from below, but instead, a whiff from L3, which could have been a kill. Instead, he's turned into nothingness, and at least some comms if he gives it, but those Grims will certainly give out what he needs. Now, you at least have a possible Logi drop-in plan. I don't know if I'd call it safe, but it's certainly an option. You have to certainly try to fight Mercury on an angle that isn't really doable to win, but hey, I've seen worse. I've seen crazier wins. However, where all eyes are pointing, where everyone knows it's coming at this point, you expect it. You might hate it, but it's good. Jacuzzi Breach. However, the problem is you have a Legion shotgun in your hand with your Machamp, and that could very well catch 3 or 4 here. All of it's just down to luck, and this time he gets his head taken off by Suffer in a 4v2, and beautiful place from them. You might pop the Goyos here to even keep them out. Their own utility is being used against them, and you're going to have to force your way into Logi if you want to have any chance here, but instead, L3 is going to take 2 of your guys, and in a 1v3 for a pretty important round here to at least have an even half of chance. This one looks all but over, and DCMB kind of getting put down so far as they just can't hang right now at this level, apparently. They can't hang with the one scene. They can't hang with the biggest guys in the house, and you never know, but it's not likely. You might find one, but time's just going to wind down on you. That clock is now against you this time. You need to be perfect in all of your time here, because everything needs to be... You might find at least a couple, but you need to run now. You don't have a lot of time, and as that clock winds down, you're forced to make a move, guessing. Sadly, you guessed incorrectly. Maybe a little bit closer than you'd hope if you're DME, but at the end of the day, a round win is a round win. Take what you can get. DME, though, certainly showing out why they're that 1 seed. Why everyone was glad they're not facing against them. Easily one of the strongest teams in the entirety of the bracket. I think we have a couple of weaker ones, or weaker seeds, that certainly could put up that work. DCMB was never... I don't think they were expected to really pull that off. That's fine. They're a newer team. You just want to see how far you can get. If you can at least put up a couple rounds here, good. And just go on. In this one, if it goes either way, we're either going to see DME or DCMB cast, or I'll probably cast it, the game against Voltage, which should be a nasty quarterfinals, to be entirely fair. That quarterfinals game should be amazing. We have a couple of other great teams. I think we have Santos, who would argue is way at that top. Wrath, who I think is a little bit underrated, but certainly not the best. But the big ones you want to look out for is Mako, or it's not Mako-ish, Mako-wise? I'm gonna have Insignia at my throat for that. But the Maw teams, Santos is certainly, I think, the big one. And then Deadly Sins, which don't set them down quite yet. I think they still have a lot of really good hope in them. Despite maybe their lower seed, I think that you can certainly expect a lot of big things from them. And then your number 2, a team that I argue shouldn't even be in the Division 2, you have Redemption. You know, sometimes, listen, your team's going to lose, man. I have watched it a bajillion times in the games I've casted. I've had games where I genuinely cast them, and I'll watch my team lose 7-2. Is it pretty? No. But at the end of the day, at least it's a good VOD review. You know it's wrong. You got to just walk back into that VOD review with your team and, you know, maybe hope better for next playoffs. I've done it quite a few times. T3 is not kind to teams that are not the greatest. Hey, but progress is all that matters, in my opinion. Got to get somewhere. We're at least seeing a normal round progression, I think, from both sides. As everything's getting opened up in normal time. The Jacuzzi Breach, I think you'd normally expect to get opened up a little bit faster. But you have 1 man to do your entire job, so it's all, I think, down to just how it's going to play out. At that point, you have both your breaches. You know the big plan. You have all the options in the world. Now it's just down to you. It looks like L3 is going to be the one to push CC by himself. I think a bit of a madman to have a 4-1 split onto sides, but a lot of trust into a person that's currently very close to top of the server here. And I think the problem is that even if you do push here, they're going to have to send OBJ instead. You're going to have to fight a shotgun, and that will not be pretty. They might be struggling right now, but yeah, it's going to be so hard to fight those angles sometimes, and we're going to see that. The champ got his first for the server. I think big for him, and I think the first kill is always the hardest to get. Suffer certainly adding on to his kill total, 7-0. Looking to make sure there's a donut on one side and hopefully quite a few on the others for the other team. L3 finds another on the Vive. It's at least looking great here for DME. But I think the big thing is you need to see a big play from someone. You need to see Machamp or maybe the Vigil here pop off, come into a round, and finally show some big fight. But in a 4v1, there's not a lot you can hope for here. You might find Suffer to finally give him his first death, but L3 is right behind to make sure nothing sneaky happens here, and it does not look like what it needs to be. That's about what did I do? Nah, I'm just confused. I think runners tweaking. D1 tweak. He's the Antonio Brown of the console esports league. That's not true. That'd be Bianca? I don't know. It'd be someone crazy. Runner's on that level though. He's just like a little odd. There's a difference. I don't know. Maybe Runner is the toned down version of Antonio Brown. Used to be top like 15. Then now he's not as good. And he's on weird teams and nobody actually remembers what his teams are. Like that one time he was on the Bucks. Because yeah, he was on the Bucks. It's just like one of those things. Hey, but there's still I think a lot of life left in Runner, and if we see him maybe not field his own team, maybe field on another team, if we see him go on to a 907 or God forbid 5.2 catches another superstar, there could certainly be a lot there. I think 5.2 looked to be easily what most people would call the super team heading into this, you know, the playoffs overall. Vizx, who came super close to winning that roller Sunday at BOGO 4, losing that grand finals, if it was 8-6, if I'm not mistaken. Which, a loss hurts, but you're certainly showing you have that power, and you're certainly showing you can hang with the best. It's a big thing to show, and I think that as much as we like to talk about, you know, these current D2 matches, even if you're actively casting them, even if you're playing in them, you're looking maybe towards what are those superstar matchups going to look like? What is Obey going to look like? There's a lot of players here that I think are very exciting. A lot of hope for a team like DME who look to be the next guy up. Maybe the next team to really hang themselves on D1. L3 and Donut find a quick 1-2. Starting off the round strong. Someone got to help Robbery though, as he is struggling right now. We all have issues, but not great so far. And HP finds another one to Mercury. You'd hope to just have something here. Have some round on the half. Have something to at least say we did. You don't want to go home without any round here, and I think if we see this go to a 7-0, this is all but over. You're just praying for some numbers here. You're praying for a miracle. You're praying for some fairy dust onto the round, some safety in your team, and maybe you find one. Maybe you find even 3 or 4, but what are the odds you're going to find all 5? Once again, maybe you'll find 1 or 2 from your bait here, but you have to do everything by yourself in a 1v4 with a Monty in hand. Donut actively alive. You have all of your good players here. L3 looks to be locked. You have a team of DME that I think is showing right now they are very, very ready. However, at minimum, Champ is going to try to put up a couple here, try to show that they might be struggling, but they're not a bad team by any means. You know, if you place them against the lower seeds, I think there could have been a lot of hope, but so far it looks like this team just can't hang right now at the level. You can make it close. You can make it as, you know, close as you please, but I think that we're just seeing DME has that factor right now. They're able to get the trades. They're able to get the entries. I think we're seeing a level of chemistry and proficiency that you would expect from the 1 seed. You'd expect from the team that people are arguing probably should have been in D1. And I think we're seeing that. I think there's certainly those teams coming out. There's maybe only a handful, but there are truly some teams that I think are genuinely just strong, strong teams. This being one of them. I think there's quite a few on Maw. I think you have quite a few off of even Zave's team. I think we're seeing singular orgs maybe have 1 or 2 flagship teams, and we're seeing that those can handle their own right now. At least long term, but we will see, you know, come next season champions and next season SSL. Where can they hang? That's where I think a lot of it's going to be proven. Bigger question is, are we even going to see DME in SSL? I don't know. I personally would think so, but I mean, some teams are not into it. Some teams are not in SSL. Some teams don't play leagues for reasons beyond me, and it is not up to me. I'm simply the caster. I'm not even the caster that's casting all that much anymore. I got T3 on mind. I got like SSL playoffs, Champions playoffs, and then it's all T3. Coast, probably. Coastal League, Baller, Neurostrike, maybe Element 6. Maybe. That's a bit out there, but there's a chance I co-cast a game. We can all hope. But DME look to be the strongest we've ever seen them. And I'm not certainly saying that we can't see some hope, some level of genuine, maybe greatness. But there's a lot you gotta do, and I don't see it happening. DCMB might be able to pull a couple rounds. You might be able to show at least a second win, but DME look like the battering ram that no one wants to stop and a team that no one's really ready for. I think that they're going to show that they are that D1 team and that there's only even a few teams at that level. We're going to see maybe Voltage. We're going to see maybe Voltage and Zave maybe was there, but they got placed early. Redemption? There's not a lot of teams that... There's a reason that they're 1 seed. There's not a lot of teams that I genuinely think have a good chance of beating them. If you're beating them, it's going to be a close game, and you're going to put everything you have. There's nothing that truly feels like a safe win. Obviously great for games, and you certainly hope for, you know, these close ones, but... If they ever wanted to make a statement, this is certainly, I think, the one they're going to make, which is that we're ready. We're very, very ready, and we're going to show that we are the best team here. I think that's scary for a lot of teams because they've shown it time and time again right now. Imperial is disabled for 30 minutes. So apparently y'all shouldn't get ads for 30 minutes. Which sounds wrong. Whatever. I mean, sometimes it's how it runs. L3 finds the first and spawn peaked for a little bit longer than I think we all expected.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Here, I just think we're not seeing a team of DCMB that even feels like they're mentally there right now. And I think that's... You're going to see that. It is so hard to stay mentally locked over how long you have to lock in here. You know, we're going to see HP is going to catch another. It's just... It doesn't look like the team of DCMB is ready for the, you know, the big lights right now. Yeah. I think we're seeing that. They maybe were able to barely scrape into Division 2 playoffs, but they're not able to hang up the level of a team like DME. A team that has shown that they're at that D1 level. A team that has shown that they can beat the best. And that's not a hate on a DCMB. Being D2 isn't really a bad thing. That's still a great team. It's just when you're against the best of the best, you know, you're going to see it. It's like watching like the Panthers versus like a high school team. Yes, the Panthers are going to demolish, you know, 85-0. But then what about, you know, the Chiefs? We're going to see that. You at least find one here to make sure it's not a flawless end of the round, but this one feels all but over as maybe you can hope, maybe you can pray for something to come to you. Not even a revelation at this point. A genuine transcendence, I think, is obviously the closest path they have to victory, where they just need to transcend the entirety of this game and just learn to be better. Vibe maybe finds one, but he is literally being closed in on all sides. Shots coming from all directions. He's being run out on, chased, and they know he's there. You might find damage onto one, but they are literally doing everything they can to stop you. But instead, they throw the bodies. It's a 2v1, and it could have been at least relatively, you know, a guaranteed round. Maybe we see a bit of a throw here, and no longer the free 7-0 you hoped. You know where you are at this point, and this is the big issue, is time can always be it. As you know where they are, but can you beat them in the gunfight? Can you beat them when it matters most? Just to hang on. You might find one down, but you have to beat the shotgun, and instead, DME proving once again why they're on top. They're showing out as that team, and that'll be first map as DME dominates. Second map, Nidehaven. Maybe a little bit closer, but we'll be back right after this break.
This is Sprays, and this is the Counting Cards Podcast Week 1. Today we have with us Brian from Wild Boys. The
Hello.
leader. Let's start simple, though. Who are you?
My name's Brian. I am the CEO / chairman of the Wild Boys organization / LLC.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Let's look to the past.
Okay.
So how did you start the org? How did it come to be?
How did I start the org? Well, funny enough, one day I was sitting there with a group of friends at this place called Twin Peaks, and one of my friends mentioned Jinxie, and I was like, Jinxie, who the fuck is that? So they pulled up his Twitch, and we were watching him, and he said something about like a $50,000 like game. I was like, what? There's no way. So me going into Discord and going around, I went through the main R6 server on Discord, and then I got recruited by forgot what org it was, but some small org where me, Knight, and Toxic, or when we get farther into the podcast, it'll become relevant, recruited me to go play with them. Well, we joined this org together, and we were sitting there, and I was like, oh, okay. Learning on how leagues work, on who runs things. I was like, I want to do this. So one day I was like, yo, Knight, Toxic, if I make an organization, will you guys join? And they were like, hell yeah. And now that's the beginning of Wild Boys right there.
How many teams do you have in the beginning?
Okay. So in the very beginning of Wild Boys, I didn't understand on how necessarily comp worked. I thought as if I get 5 players, I have a team. I didn't understand that you had to have the best of the best, or they all had to be champ. So me, Knight, and Toxic decided to make 23 teams in Wild Boys when we first started. And half the team were coppers, half were like silvers, a couple plats. I think we had 1 diamond for 23 teams. And then, yeah, and then through then, we became more knowledgeable in the comp scene. And now, today, I'm pretty sure we have 12 teams.
So to also go off of that, is there like one player or a specific player or specific team that helped you gain popularity?
Yes. So, are you guys familiar with the guy named Cosmic?
A little.
Okay. So, Cosmic, one day, I was sitting there on Wild Boys posting looking for org / players. I was going, hey, join Wild Boys. We're this and that. Well, Cosmic reached out, and his team at the time was called Code Black, and they were, in my opinion, probably one of the best teams in comp at the time. And Cosmic was like, hey, I have a really good team looking for an org. I'm willing to help get you started and etc. So I was like, shit, help me out. Well, Cosmic, me, Knight, and Toxic all got in a VC, and we talked, and next thing later, Code Black joined Wild Boys, and from there, we took off like a rocket ship. I think we went from 50 people in our Discord server to 500 in a matter of...
We're back, I think, but also maybe have some issues because someone decided to put themselves as the wrong caster. Or on spectator, I think. If I'm not mistaken. So, don't tell me. Or wait, we might be good. Okay, we're good. Never mind. Issues fixed apparently, and we got ourselves a game. Always love to see it. I'm glad we have at least something to look forward to. We'll see. DME's free is crazy. DME and free after they just 7-0'd is actually wild. They're not fodder, dude. Even as the official caster for Maw, sorry. I'm telling you, I think they're gonna show out. We're gonna see a lot from them that I think is unexpected. I'm gonna see them beat some better teams. I think we could see them beat Voltage. I think we could maybe even see them beat Redemption. I don't even think that's possible unless it's finals. So you guys could play in semifinals, I think. Yeah, semis. Yeah, you guys could play. So, because it's 5 rounds, I think. We'll see. Anyways, a beatdown of a game early on, and you'd maybe hope you have a little bit more in the tank here, but I think now this is all about just making it look better. Making the game look more digestible, not round differential, so it's not 7-0. Maybe you hope for maybe a 14-5. That at least looks okay. We'll see. We will certainly see as there's hope, but it is all up to these players to really show that. Hey, at least we got ourselves multi-streaming finally. The game might have been a little bit shaky, but... And now you can watch us on Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube at the same time. Thank you, Restream. Because Restream actually does something occasionally. Also means that we get all of the audio, all the video, and there's no issues. Because Restream Studio is the buns. But this works. If you are on TikTok or YouTube, you get 720p, 60 frames, I think, and then no watermark because I fixed it. Which, I mean, you can certainly do worse than that, but if you're watching a stream on TikTok, I don't think you're expecting 4K footage. I'm just saying. Hey, this is like somewhat quality footage on TikTok. And quality gameplay, too. Or I'll tell myself, but Bolo streams on TikTok, so I'm pretty sure I'm just chalked. We ain't getting that quality. And Suffer might have the plan to... apparently he was putting his ear up to it, because I guess hearing the breach is really going to help you there. I think these teams are maybe a little bit playing around after DME kind of didn't really show any mercy and no Russianed a team for 7 rounds straight. Hey, but there's still some help. There's still maybe a little bit left in the tank. Maybe a couple rounds. Maybe even a really good half. Maybe even a positive half. Let's look up. Is likely? Maybe not. As we're seeing, you should have gone below. You should have applied some pressure down there, because now you're going to have no wall, no hope, and if you're getting anything here, it's not going to be fun. Instead, you're going to have to deal with all of this through doors, windows, and various other things. Which can work. It's not lie. It can certainly do its job, but you don't expect it to do well. Also, pre-rolls are disabled, so I think ads are good. Because I ran to like a 182nd ad a while back. Stats-wise, it's been kind of slow. I think, surprisingly, despite the dominant win, the stats were very generally spread across. Not really do see a good gunfight here. L3 finds... I am not trying to say that. VN? We'll say VN. We'll say Knight, because I think that's Knight. V-Knight. Yeah, that's totally right. Yeah, I didn't get time to get enunciations for players, even though it's playoffs. D2 playoffs. Sad. Hey, apparently, there isn't looking to be too many casters for playoffs. I mean, I am going to be the one-stop shop for Champions playoffs, odds are. Which also means I'm probably going to have grand finals. Because why not? I'm going to have like 7 grand finals in the span of like a week. I'm going to have SSL, Baller. We already did Neuro. That'd be like 4 playoffs. That's going to be miserable. I'm not having my voice back in like 3 weeks. Yeah, chalk the voice. I'm already struggling sometimes, and it's why I can't be as energetic, because I don't got it in me anymore. The vocal cords are not hanging, but at least you're going to find a bit of a freebie on the L3 as he wasn't even looking in the right direction. He was just straight up standing there. And then Suffer immediately trades out. And this is why this team is kind of unbeatable. Because this team feels so strong chem-wise and mentally. You're not going your trade outs. You're also going to have an AFK player. And this one is going to end in a very similar fashion to the last one, with 1 round early on and a very dominant one at that. maybe you can find a couple. Maybe you can find even something. But just at this point, you're grabbing onto the scraps. You're grabbing onto the hope. And hope has gotten teams far. I saw Alchemist win like 4 straight down 6-0. Did they lose? Yes, but that hope got them there. Or Zave. We're down 5-1 on Skyscraper just last night. And we saw them win 5 straight just to go to overtime and pull it out. I'm saying it can happen. Are the odds likely? No. You also need to have like a generational IGL and like genuinely like the best IGLs we see. Do I expect that? Maybe not. Maybe not, let's be honest. I don't think either of these teams are really blowing us away with their IGLing skills. Donut can perform fine, but I'm really expecting this team to, you know, like IGL better than teams like Voltage right now. Teams better than Redemption. One. Zave even. I think there's certainly a lot of teams that have better IGLs, and I think we're going to see this a lot from DME. Is they have a good enough strat book, but it's not going to be truly deep. If they go team against like Voltage and Redemption, that's where it's going to run into issues. Or if they go against a team that can gun better, where I think either of the MAW teams right now could certainly do it. I think that's where you're going to run into issues if you are a player. If you are DME, you might be able to dominate here, but the bigger question is, can you dominate when you get to that point? Because I guarantee you, this game is probably already done to them. Not to be rude, but I genuinely think that players do it like, just do it like that. They see a 7-0 and they're already like immensely somewhere else. Got a little bit of an interesting game, though. At least somewhere you'd hope. Maybe you see a couple dropped. Maybe you see something, but I'm sorry to Runner in that watch party. I am severely, severely let down, as we're seeing a bit of a letdown. Let's be honest. I wasn't expecting a, you know, a 2-1 nail biter of a game, but like a round would have been nice. Just a round win would have really set me off. Would have made this game a lot more enjoyable to watch. Instead, I missed a chunk of my 6-6 scrim. I should have just coached. Out of the Yappington aside, it's been a very slow start within that first minute. Both teams are kind of getting their footing into what looks to be a default issue, and then still an AFK player, because when in doubt, I guess we're going to have those. Goldfish finds the first of the round and the first of his game. Obviously early, so it's not a big deal, but you always find damage if you are Curry? Mercury, sorry. I was about to pronounce that deadly wrong. I don't know how OBJ is still alive. He's just playing the dance here, hoping to see if he can find one, and he somehow does here. Apparently running around the circle is in fact a verified method of finding wins. And apparently there's everything else going right, as L3 finds a big one. You have one player left. You're hoping Vibe can maybe pull out 3. You can have your second player come back and maybe do something here, but this one is all but over, and I think they know it's the same dude, which means we're now going to see the hunt, the true search for one player, which, well, you win some, you lose some, and I'm not going to call a game prematurely, but the round differential is 9-0. So unless we see Twitch come back here, pull out 5 straight, and have easily one of the coolest rounds I've seen. But once again, I'm all about stats, and I'm pretty sure the odds of that are like 1 in 12,000. We've gone down to 5 viewers. I'd hate, but this game is hard to watch a little bit. Let's not lie. This does not look pretty, and I mean, maybe you can hope for some, you know, real hope there. Maybe you can hope for a round, but like, it's very, very possible. We see a 14-0, and we see the 1 seed demolish the 12. Am I mistaken? 12th seed? Is it 12th or 18th? Now I gotta check. I don't even know my own stats. Forgive me. There's
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
At this point, I'm pretty sure we're just... I think that the side of DME is probably seeing if they can break a kill record. Maybe listen to some music in the back. I don't want to be that guy to bring it up, but this team is probably done. I mean, it's the 16 seed versus the 1, so it's kind of like March Madness. Stuff can certainly happen. There's a small meteoric chance, but there's doubts. Overall, at least, that was I casted the first game and will now be the second. These have been literally the polar opposites. First game, Zabe Voltage was arguably one of the greatest games I've casted ever. Went max rounds in 2 maps, 7-5 in the one that didn't. That's like as perfect as you can get. And the last one ended in overtime match point with like 5 seconds left. But instead we see this one end in what could very well be 2 7-0s in a row. But as I've sort of run about things to talk about is the stats are genuinely that bad and there hasn't been that much advantage or even like entertainment here. You know what we can talk about? We can talk about the next teams. DME and Voltage probably. Unless we see a miracle. Should be a very good matchup. We see a lot of star-studded players and I do think Voltage would pull it out if we do see that. I think Voltage has shown over the course of the season. We've seen that over the course of the season, they have improved massively, and that I think that we're going to see that even more. It isn't really a hate onto DME here. I just think that you're fighting a much bigger fish in a sea that is already very large. It's not like a DME is a bad team by any means. It's just Voltage is a team that arguably is one of the best upcoming teams right now. I think it takes a little bit of damage here, and you're at least seeing the first time in a while an advantage go the way. Finally, numbers are up and maybe looking like a round, but instead, we're just giving up free picks because we're looking the wrong direction. Wrong axis of direction. We're not even in the same era. The champ trying to keep that advantage, and there's a genuine chance we see a round on the board here. Maybe not hope, but at least something. Some form of happiness in a game as DME plans to make it as close as humanly possible. There's maybe just a small chance, a genuine millimeter. We could see around here, and you get your player up. It's still possible. The chance is still alive around here. The energy is back in me. A second win like this team, and maybe there's just a chance you have to go against 5-0, kill a fish. It is not an easy kill. This is easily going to be one of the hardest ones. He has verticality that he can hold on you. He has a shotgun in hand, so you can't really take it too aggressively. You're leaving a lot down to a player here, and you need to find the one here. You need to find the chance to just close it out. If we see this one go the way of DME, I think this game has been over. Will be over. As the drop comes out, Killerfish finds it, and this one looks all but over here as we see genuine dominance from all the players here. Truly a little bit sad. You hoped for so much more in a Cinderella run, your true hopes, maybe your amazing teams, but I think you're going to have to look elsewhere tonight as this one looks to be a pretty boring game. Instead of a, close one, we're seeing a beatdown, which it was. I can't even speak. It is what it is. Yeah, no, I gotta get a new introduction video for my intro, man. That thing's in dusting in the closet. We gotta get a new podcast episode done. Don't worry, I think I have one that I can drop. Trust will either redrop the abolished one. Maybe we drop the one of Matrix after they won a league, maybe. I don't know, we'll see, but
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
there's going to be a new introductory video, at least for SSL in terms of playoffs. I'm hopefully going to get quite a few Hall of Famers for semifinals to have a little bit of snippet. Maybe Vizix, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't do anything outside of DMs in Siege, so I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Maybe I can make him... Maybe I can make it happen if it's a 1v1, you know? Trick his mind into speaking while playing. Otherwise, maybe Andy's term. Maybe a Dexy. Dexy's really chill. You know, players that are like known for playoff success and going far. You know, they're known as good players. Maybe a little bit of a snippet. Each of them having their own like 45 seconds for the question. That'd be the coolest thing, but I gotta arrange that first, and that alone sounds odd. They might be amazing players, and some of them genuinely do have great personalities. Even like Witta, who I think is kind of awesome, even though he's like newer to League. But good lord, are they busy people? They're either playing ranked or that's like a League game or tournament. So what's happening is be like a Tuesday at like 1 in the morning, I swear. Hey, but it'll look cool maybe. A new podcast clip that has all the bigger names in League. It's more at that point of a personal thing. I really wanted to do that personally. If it does happen, maybe it looks to be a good strat. Is once again Hibana tricking is kind of taking its way up. It is actually relatively good now. Also, one of the slowest starts to a round I have ever seen. We do at least see where the plan is coming from. Mercury, Deimos, everyone's at this corner, but all hopes are diminished as it's all put away by just one Goyo. Could have been a rush play, now turned into a very sputtery attack. Somehow, still no picks. We're a minute 15 in. We have almost half. We have more than half the round gone. We're still seeing crickets on the field. Finally, Killfish finds one. A down comes out, and Dme once again loses body. Now it's up to the side of DCMB to keep that advantage and finally pull it around. Just at least have something on the board. But it's not going to be an easy one. HP is going to get low. Going to finally get down, and maybe it's looking up because you have Donut and Suffer left who have not shown out yet. It's always been Killerfish. Maybe you have the chance here. Maybe Machamp can come back into his own and we can see a team that can win a round. Then it's 1, then maybe it's 3, then maybe it's 15. I don't know. However, a 1v3 certainly helps. All you have to do at this point is not throw Suffer. Gonna be the only man on site, the only man alive. If he wants the flawless series, he's going to have to put all of his effort into here, try to go for 100%. And perfection is needed, as anything less will lose him the round. And finally, DCMB has something on the board. It took a long time. It took so many rounds. But we see it. After 10 arduous rounds, there is 1 round on the board. It's been done. It's been saved, truly. We see the hope, maybe. There's just a sliver, a chance of something here. A chance to maybe get you a couple of rounds. A chance to do something. God, I feel bad, Doe. I love you, but like, Doe and Cells, you know, at this point, spend the bandwidth elsewhere, man. Go stream a movie on Netflix. Go, I don't know, play Fortnite. Go watch Meaty Marley. I don't. Go watch one of our videos at this point. Go on YouTube and watch one of the old videos. Watch our grand finals or something. Because this is not the entertainment value you would be hoping for. Hey, at least we got a round though. You know, at least you, if you are the side of DCMB, you have 1 round. Were you great? No, but you had 1 round. Did you win? God, no, but you had 1 round. And maybe they get 4, and then we can see a picture of the DCMB players putting up that fantastic 4. I'm grasping on the straws here, folks. I think the entertainment comedic value of this game has tanked about as much as the stock market back in certain times. We're not about to get demonetized somewhere. Some people, some platforms don't like that. Or I mentioned like Chinese events about to get demonetized. TikTok not about to like it. There's like $10 in credits that I have. It's just gonna be sitting there forever. That's why I need a co-caster. We need the banter for a game like this sometimes. Maybe it was on me to not bring a good co-caster. My bad, gang. When I know it's gonna be like a beat down of the game when it's the 1 seed against like the 17, I'll bring the co-caster next time. So there's some small talk. Because these rounds have been slow. I've seen my grandma move faster. At least they have bottom trick correctly. There's finally something done right. If you're a DCMB, maybe there's a chance of a 3-3 half. If that happens, I'm actually going to have energy because that would be the crazy shit ever. I'm debating if I can straight up run, refill my water bottle, leave, and it's still going to be the same player count. I think it's too late. It could have been. What could have been? With a minute 23 left, we're seeing a Deimos track finally go out after what has been a long, painstaking time. It looks like the plan for DCMB is to try to run their way down EXO. They might have the ways to do it. They might certainly have the resources and utility, but you got to get through a lot of players here. You still have all of your top frags relatively close to site. Only, well, actually, as I say that, I realize you have your main guy, Killa Fish, all the way over upstairs, and you might have a chance actually here to maybe get onto site here. Maybe make a move as Vibe grabs one, and at least there's maybe some life put into a team that struggled so much early on. You might have finally a post plan. You have something that you can genuinely try to hold here. It's not going to be easy, and you cannot afford to lose your Monty this early. Shield up, my boy. There's 2 bodies left, and you're still sitting unshielded. What are we doing? L3 might find 2. Apparently, maybe 3 here. 3 on the round, but it probably won't be enough, as you can run away all you please, but L3 is going to finish, and you might be able to pad the stats a little bit. This one was over. And as I see maybe some hope, it flutters away, and this game feels all but over. Screw it. I'm going to go refill my water, and I genuinely am going to get... No. We're going to wait. No, this is the new experiment, guys, because I've run out of content to talk about for this game. I'm going to wait for the drone phase to end. I'm going to refill my water bottle, and I guarantee you by the time I get back, it's still going to have no kills. It's going to be a flat game. This is the crazy shit to entertain. I can't even do it by the game. That's actually depressing. Knight, we gotta... Come on, man. We gotta put in some better rosters in here, dude. I get that you're a D3 or a D2 team, but like...
Attackers need to locate and
This is almost depressing. I'm more focused on if I can refill that water bottle in time than the entry stats is. It looks better than you think. It's not a garbage fire. You at least have 1 entry. It is in the way of Vibe, which, to be fair, does fit. He is kind of your beating heart right now, in my opinion, on that team. Everyone else is kind of either baiting for kills or finding some lucky ends. The 4-1-half, I've seen crazier comebacks. However, they also happen to be in map 1, when it was still anyone's game, or it was Zave, because Zave is weird. They got some crazy IGL sometimes. Now I'm gonna go. Let's see if I get back on time. I got back, and would you look at that? This time in, there's Grimby's going on, and I still don't have a kill. This is so depressing to look at and feel and see. I got a whole Gatorade bottle of water and ice, and there still isn't anything done. So the DCMB look like it's been round. It feels like they move at, you know, for the first 2 minutes they move like molasses. I could probably pull up I could start, you know, filming my podcast with another co-host, and by the time that we get done with our segment, there might be an execute coming in from DCMB. Or just like any fight whatsoever. It doesn't help that HP and the entirety of DME is kind of willing to just fall off at at the moment's notice because they trust their team so much there's a win. But like, this isn't even pretty. You'll at least find one here if you are DME. Maybe you can, you know, find one with your Grims. Maybe you can pull something out of this, but you lose your shield player. Actually, you lost your shield player. I'm a little bit surprised, honestly. I don't know how, when she could have just re-shielded. Also, I don't know what it is, but I think seeing an 11 KD in playoffs just looks wrong. I get that regular season antics are a thing, but 11-1. Are we just trying to boost the stats at this point? Are we letting him just try to go as high as he can for numbers? If so, then it's working. Finally, he's put down. Maybe he has a little bit less. He's a 5.5. But it's still ridiculous. 11-2. He died once, and he still is ridiculous. Now, hear me out, because I have chat in one corner. I am now going to go listen to an entirely different game. Hold on, we're gonna listen to some new Jid. Y'all will not be able to hear it because I cannot get demonetized on YouTube or TikTok. So instead, yeah, you guys shouldn't be able to hear that. That's like unbelievably hard to hear, and if so, it's muffled enough. I don't think even YouTube's audio is gonna pick it up. Get your ass up. Get your ass up. Yeah, Jid. Actually, by the way, that's the recommendation of the day is get off this stream. Go watch or go listen to some Jid music. Work. Amazing. His prelude or like his EP before he drops God Likes It Ugly. Watch the, you know, go listen to the prelude. Go listen to Money on Money from Young Thug. Go listen to Tyler the Creator's new album. Do that too. Just not this. Or at least I have music blasting. And noise suppression is a godsend because otherwise this would be so loud and I'd be getting demonetized immediately. But don't tap the glass. Goated album from Tyler. I would not seriously consider this a game at this point. This feels like I'm watching a scrim from two teams that are not ready for it. Yeah, I gotta bring on like my friends for these kind of games where it's 1-16, where they can just be in the background waiting, and if we see it get really bad like this, I can bring them in and we can just start yapping for views. Because I might like listening to music and having a bit of a chill BO3, but I don't think the viewers do. I would be astonished if any of you are really truly paying attention at this point, because I've tuned out and I'm the one casting it. My job is not to. It's hard to when it's 5-1. Not even like it's pro team, so the strats are like genuinely interesting. Like I'm a T3 coach and a stats nerd. If I see an interesting stat or like interesting anything in terms of strategy, I'm gonna nerd out and talk about it for 45 minutes. These strats are more default than, I don't know, the average high school white girl. I see more variety in them. Maybe their hair tie color is different or something, or like they're scrunchy. You know, I guess live and learn. Or in this case, don't bring a Mira. I just realized they didn't bring a Mira when it's unbanned. So I get DCMB. I get it. We're losing bad, but like, breathe in, breathe out, guys. I think we got to rethink the strategy, and also maybe our entire roster, because losing one, you have one round win over what has so far been 13 rounds. You're 14-1. That is miserable. Whatever. Maybe there's some hope for someone. Maybe Knight can grab a kill here on the defense where he is in a position to catch what could be quite a few if he's lucky. But they know, and I'm assuming lag here is he just got lagged out and couldn't even do anything. And now the push from DME looks strong as ever. They certainly know what they're going for, and it's all just down to time as clock is just going to wind down, and that might be an issue for any other team, but they already looks like to be prepping and ready for an execute. And we have barely, we're not even at the half point yet. Forgive me, we're about it. Plus, to be fair, side looks relatively easy to fight. You have to go with Mercury and Vibe here, who both have really, really annoying weapons in that shotgun. Amazing shotguns, but other than that, this looks to be a little bit free. You have shields closing in on you. You might be able to find something if you're Vibe, but you are being closed in on from every angle. Everyone is looking at you, and you might find at least one if you're the doc here, but everything is coming towards you. There is no way to stop it. The oncoming assault is nothing you can stop, and DME approach series point, possibly winning a 14-1 round differential, which Vizsla, you should tune in some other time, because this game was not it. Tune in for next week with Voltage and DME. That'll be a great game. That'll be one that'll feed families, and I'll probably cast because no one else casts around here. But like, come on, man. Also, Vizsla, I pray that me casting what is probably going to be the only person casting D2 and D1 playoffs. Let me have my grand finals, please, from here. Pretty please. I'm the only one that does console. I try my best, man. I try to help out the leagues, because I sure shouldn't get paid enough for that.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Y'all should thank people like, you know, Madden Wise, SSL, who's technically paying me, but I'm pretty sure it's like Sheen's salary. It don't matter. I do it for the love of the game. If I were doing it, if I cared about money and views, I'd be going to T3. I love the console. This is where I got my casting start. I only started comp in April, to be entirely fair. I just happened to get very lucky because Sino gave me some tips, and I am now in T3 circuits. Which, good. Yay, we got there. That helps. But then also Wild Boys also gave me a pretty good start. They got me like MPL. They got me like a lot of semifinals, grand finals. They helped me get my way in there. Shout out to Wild Boys, because you got to start somewhere. SSL was just asking because there's so few, and I think I casted within one season, with 7 weeks, I casted 25 games. That's absurd. And maybe a first entry is Mercury actually finds something, but everything is coming towards him. The oncoming assault is ruthless. He has 3 shields running at him. He could have blown up that and hopefully found one earlier, but instead we see for the first time ever, DCMB actually has an advantage as everything came in at once. The players above, everything is just out of place, and I'm pretty sure this round has progressed like no other. No one is going to say that this game is good, but they are going to say it's unique, as DME might have one more round loss to look at, and no longer will be 14-1. Or, yeah, 14-1. Instead, we're going to see 15-2. Failure, I say. Failure. Failure. Or sorry, 13-2. But you never know. Maybe we see Killifish and everyone pop off, but okay, apparently not. I was about to pre-fire that death and say it already happened, but I guess not. This is why you can never be too sure. As we see L3 feeling the power to challenge the Chonkifier just straight up on a, you know, who needs any of that weird commie level stuff. Instead, let's R4C your way through this and maybe you have a chance. The odds don't look great for you, but it's all about timing, I suppose. at a 2v3. You're gonna have to play perfect after your Monty here. You're gonna have to play the perfect complementary game. However, there's not a lot of time to do it, and Tachanka looks like it's probably gonna waste quite a few of that. You know, quite a few of those precious seconds. And a drop from Warden where we know where he's going. We know exactly what he's planning. And a C4 below might find one. And finally, DCMB might have it. They might have the special formula, the Krabby Patty sauce, to get just one more round. But before that, I think we're going to see L3 try to pad the sets a little bit. 40 seconds left. You can at least bait. You can at least try to find a swing. Is it going to be pretty? God, no. Is losing 2 rounds going to really change the outcome of any game? No. Maybe an ace for L3. My bad. 20 seconds left. Doesn't look likely as Tachanka, I guarantee you, tends to be the biggest pain in the ass. But you never know. If you can find the Tachanka here, it's all within possibility. However, it's not good odds, and it's a quad kill for L. He's gonna go for the plant. The Madman's sticking it, and it's gonna get off. It shouldn't have been impossible. It shouldn't even been within reason. But there's a post plant situation in a 1v3. You gotta be perfect. You gotta be perfect and making it way closer than you need. You're crouching and shooting the body after almost throwing a 1v3 is wild shit. That is the kind of thing you never expect to see. Good lord. We're shooting bodies and we're down 4 rounds. Chalk it. These are the first 2 rounds you've won in the entire game, and you're... This is something out of, like, a Madman series. I don't even know what this is. I don't even like... The fact to even let a clutch and an ace almost come in is crazy, but... You let a plant get down? I don't even like... DCMB either are giving up or they're doing all or nothing by running a clash and a cav. I can't tell, and I'm not entirely sure. I don't think they know. I don't think they even know if they're trying or not. I think this team is stuck in limbo, where they don't know what to do. To be fair, I wouldn't either if I was getting this hard whooped. Like, yeah, you got rounds. You put a band-aid on a bleeding everything. At least the new Tyler album is peak. At least I can pay attention to that. And what? Who is that even? It's from the dock? Are they meleeing each other? They're actually doing knife wars. Oh my god. This is something out of... This is a playoff game, remind you. This is a full playoff game. This is worth seeding in points. And we're meleeing each other. What am I even... What is... What? What? I don't even... Like... Wow, they knifed each other. This is actually worth an app. I just watched a team melee fight. You know, sometimes I don't have an answer. Tonight's gonna be that night. I guess that'll be all for tonight. I'll catch y'all in the next one, I guess.